liked excitement. He liked to be involved in dangerous things. His close friend and 4-time Super Bowl champ, Jack Lambert, would say. Joe Namath gave a press conference announcing his retirement 5 months before he just won Super Bowl MVP, and he just won MVP of the league. It was his childhood dream to get there. He'd been fighting his whole life for it. He never thought it would end like this. What the hell happened? Why do you get involved with these guys? Welcome to Take Some Fuego. Today we're going to take a look at the Mafia and determine how much say should they actually have in the NFL? Should they have any at all? Joe Namath was a star. Before he even went to college, he received several MLB offers by the Yankees, Indians, Reds, Pirates, and Phillies. There was only 20 baseball teams in the league at that point. Namath just got offers from a quarter of the league, all before he graduated high school. But he chose not to pursue this line of work. Football it is. After an Alabama college career where he said he got culture shock from all the white people, Joe Namath was drafted into the NFL by the St. Louis Cardinals 12th overall. His dream had come true. In the initial negotiation for his contract, Namath requested $200,000 and a new Lincoln Continental. The Cardinals, initially offended by his offer, said they would fulfill his request if he does not play in the Orange Bowl. Screw that, Namath thought. He played in the Orange Bowl and the day after signed with the New York Jets in the AFL. They had also drafted him on the exact same day as the Cardinals. Wow, he's so good he was drafted by the NFL and the AFL on the same day. Upon graduation, Joe was destined to be drafted to go to Vietnam. Cartilage damage that he had in his final college season made him ineligible to be drafted. He was taking his talents to the AFL. Joe Namath became somewhat of a pioneer in his achievements. He became the first quarterback to throw for 4,000 yards in a season. He quickly rose to be seen as one of the biggest stars in the sport. It wasn't always smooth sailing for him. Joe had 4 knee surgeries in 1965, 67, 68, and 69. Sometimes he would have his knee drained at halftime. 3 knee surgeries deep, the New York Jets made Super Bowl III. The Packers from the NFL won the first 2 Super Bowls, and writers said it would take several years for the AFL to catch up. Atlanta Falcons head coach would say, "I'll tell you what I think about Joe Namath on Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday, after he played his first pro game." Joe went 17 for 28 to help the Jets get up 16 points. Broadway Joe just put not just the New York Jets on the map, but the entire AFL. So how did the mob play into all this? Like Jack Lambert said, Broadway Joe was a wild boy. He would tell reporters he would drink just about all the time, and he bragged to Playboy about how many women he slept with. He would tell the story about how the night before the 1968 AFL Championship, he, quote, stayed up all night with the girl and a bottle. It was part of the legend, and maybe it helped him out. You know how boxers say they abstain from sex before a fight? It seemed like Joe Namath does the opposite. Whatever floats your boat. Namath was part owner of a newly opened bar in the Upper East Side of New York City. It was named Bachelors 3, as it was opened by 3 bachelors. What was the deal? It became the first real dating bar for single people in the United States. As it is now, the Upper East Side was one of the wealthiest neighborhoods in New York City. The biggest name athletes, entertainers, and politicians were all drawn to the club. The most exciting celebrities at the top of the American social status would enter the club on a nightly basis looking for a partner. Oh, and the Mafia, particularly members of the Lucchese and Gambino crime family, using it as a hangout. Carmine Persico, who ended up going to prison but still operating as the crime boss of the Colombo family, and Carmine Tramunti, who was boss of the Lucchese crime family, hung out there on a regular basis. Carmine Persico was a mobster's mobster. He started in grade school where he would extort lunch money. He would move up and was ultimately responsible for a huge number of murders. One day, Persico was sitting in his car, and someone who Carmine had tried to earlier murder himself saw him. The failed murder victim took out his gun and shot Persico in the face several times as he drove away. And Broadway Joe was hanging out with him fairly regularly. Life magazine said investigators of Bachelors 3 noted 13 criminals were regulars at the establishment. 11 operating gambling rackets, 1 bank robber, and another big-time jewelry thief. Commissioner of the NFL, Pete Rozelle. Wait, Pete Rozelle, Roger Goodell? Is this a coincidence? Or are they actually the same person? Or rather, a robot disguised as 2 different people that has maintained its power? Anyway, Pete Rozelle was concerned about the image of the sport. It's a tough sell to have your biggest star in the sport hang out with murderers and people who bet on sports. Rozelle gave Joe an ultimatum: either sell Bachelor's 3 or take a suspension. He cited a clause in Namath's contract stating he could be suspended for, quote, associating with notorious persons. Between the option of suspension or selling the bar, Namath wasn't too enthusiastic about either one, so he made his own. "I'm not selling, I quit," he would say in a press conference. The first day of Jets training camp, Namath was nowhere to be found. It had ended as quickly as it had started for Namath. At 26 years old, he exited the league on top. That is, until he unretired a month later. He would go on to play football several more years. He would continue his high-profile lifestyle, even wearing fur coats to this day. I wonder if those fell off a truck. For more stories, including the real reason Tom Brady left the Patriots, check out the videos on the screen and be sure to subscribe, or I will talk with Carmine Persico and extort your lunch money.